various areas of Pakistan other than Waziristan. So, in fact, the picture of Pakistan is quite different, which you can have experience on electronic media and international conference. You know, the journey of this Talibanization started from the Islamization in Pakistan, and now people are predicting the Balkanization of Pakistan, and you can find many articles on internet all over the world, and especially during March, even Rajiv called me and my friends all over the world, what is happening in Pakistan? Do you think the Taliban are just 60 miles away from Islamabad? There will be a fall of Islamabad? So it was a created and painted picture by the Western media, which I always named they are the vanguard of Western rulers, the Western media. Whether we claim this is the age of information, and other than my activism, I have a hobby to travel all over the world. The experience which you do practically, that is not possible to understand the dynamics of any society through books and other kind of writings. During this age of information, which we call is a global village, I realized that consciously established lot of misconceptions and disinformation between nations, subcontinents, religions, and civilization. So I just want to explain to you the chronological journey of this Talibanization and violence in Pakistan. The first book which I read, I was a school-going student, was Mother by Maxim Gorky. The second book which I read was the autobiography of Mahatma Gandhi, and it is because of my father. I am so lucky we published that book in Urdu in Pakistan a few years back. And the translation name in Urdu and Hindi is Dala'i. And I'm lucky that I have experience to meet Farrukh Gandhi, Basha Khan or Ghaffar Khan, and who spent most of his time after independence, I mean 1947, in prisons. And he buried in Jalalabad in 1987. And we went to Jalalabad. At that time, Dr. Najibullah was the Prime Minister or President of Afghanistan. And we attended the ceremony of his burial. But my journey to non-violence is very interesting because I experienced violence in my society, and that violence transformed my thoughts and my thinking in non-violent. We struggled in many against military dictatorship, especially Ziaul, which was the most violent ruler in Pakistani history. And that was the time, in 1977, when Islam raised as a political issue in Pakistan in election campaign of 1977. And it was the first elected democratic government in Pakistan who were having the first democratic election in Pakistan by a civilian government. And during that years, January 1977 to March, April 77, Islam became, which you call political Islam in Western society, became a political issue in Pakistan. It was idealized as a most justice system of the world, and regarding that, during this campaign, they gave examples of Saudis, which are quite different than Pakistani society. And after that, the overthrow of Ziaul Haq as Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, a military dictator, imposed military rule in Pakistan on the name of Islam, and he held a so-called referendum at last. if you believe in Islam, if you believe in Sharia, this was the questionnaire of the referendum which he held, then you have to accept me as the president of Pakistan. So this period, it was a Cold War period, and I had experience to travel India at that time as a commoner, as a tourist. And I remember here in Delhi, when I went to some places as a humble citizen, people were very much excited to know the jihad of Afghanistan. And when I explained it is not a jihad, this is not a populist movement in Pakistan, society is divided in two groups. One is, so you can say, pro-Bhutto, who don't believe in jihad, and anti-Bhutto, who believe in jihad. But unfortunately, most of the nation of the world, with the superpower of the world, were supporting that jihad. And I remember I had that speech when Brzezinski came to Pakistan, the security advisor of American president, and he addressed to these Pashtun people on the border of Afghanistan in tribal area, and he said, "Oh, believers, Muslims, we are fighting against the atheist and the communist regime of Afghanistan and their supporter. So we are together to fight against this agony." The thing which I want to explain, I hope you know everybody, I'm sure you know everybody about Kipling, a renowned English writer. He belongs to Lahore that time. He coined a term about that region which is called Great Game, which explained the geopolitical situation of Central Asia, tribal region of Afghanistan, and the northern part of Pakistan. So the history proved through Cold War that jihad was not because of Islam, that jihad was a proxy war and to destabilize the region and the regional stability. After the Mujahideens, when Geneva Accord happened in 1985, I remember I had many friends in Afghanistan who were upset that now we have a situation with nobody caring in this region and warlords were emerging. It was intentionally and consciously decided in Afghanistan to establish this country without any leadership. After that, during Zia period, the Islam was exploited on the state level, and state was converted as an instrument for the Islamization on very petty issues, whether you are a Muslim, and if you are a Muslim, you have to keep fasting a day, on very petty issue, and they try to go so-called Shia, which was not successful even. But what was the outcome of this all Islamization is violence, culture of violence in our society. And this is a common belief and saying when we discuss Afghan jihad, we always use a common term in our society. There are two byproducts of Afghan jihad. One is Kalashnikov culture and second is drug culture. But third is privatization of war. So after 1985, you can see we have many groups who claim jihadist groups like Lashkar-e-Taiba, Lashkar-e-Ansar, Abdul Rashid Trust, and many other organizations emerged. And after Afghan jihad, they were not just engaged in Kashmir and other part of the world, because Pakistan was become one of the main exporters of private jihadis all over the world, even in Philippines, you can find even in Bosnia. At the same time, these jihadis tried to convert the society on sectarian basis. So I lost many friends. They were poets, judges, writers, intellectuals, journalists, activists on the name of Islam or sectarianism on the issue of Shia and Sunni. Especially there was a group, not movement, Anjuman Spies Sahaba, who believed the Wahhabis thought, and some other groups which were allied with Spies Sahaba. But unfortunately, after 9/11, when Musharraf was an imposed dictator by an institution who claimed that that is the only organized institution, which is the legacy of British imperialism. The thing which we were facing was the violence in Afghanistan and Pakistan. But after 9/11, there was a saying, there was a belief, and a common Pakistani was believing, were believer of his thought that this is not our war, that is American war. But now situation has been changed in Pakistan. Since 2 years, we think this is not just American war. On the one hand, this is the American war, but this is our war. Why? The people who claim themselves Taliban or other jihadist group, they are targeting the urban centers of all northwest provinces, almost all cities of Pashtun province, and the half cities of Punjab. So now it is very difficult to live in Pakistan. Almost every day somebody is contacting me from business sector. Is it secure to stay in Pakistan, or I have to get Canadian immigration or Australian immigration? Now we have a question of security, and we, as I was discussing last night with my Italian friend, and she used the term Irakinization, which I like. Yes, we are saying same thing. We are worse than Iraq. Now the average bomb blast and suicide attacks in our country, in my country, is almost 2 a day. And the estimate, I had experience to attend some briefing by the Pashtun governor of Askari 2 or 3 times, in which briefing he explained us, just in South Waziristan they have 20,000 Taliban or fighters and around 2,000 suicide attackers. And the question is this, which Mr. Kashif and we explained in our paper. Just this 20,000 fighters needs around 3 billion rupees a year to run their terrorist and violent activity inside the Pakistan and Waziristan and Punjab and even in Karachi now. This is just one part of tribal area who has 20,000 fighters. But the important question is, other than this Pashtun Taliban, we have 2 other kind of Talibans. Means the recruiting center, which is now the main question in Pakistani politics. The second recruiting center of Talibans are Punjabis now. And they are from the southern Punjab. And southern Punjab is very much oppressed Punjab. It is not urbanized. It is the victim of feudalism and all kind of exploitation. But I want to share you some my scattered thoughts. I interviewed one Pakistani scholar. You must watch his interview. The people who can understand Hindi or Urdu, they can understand that interview. Dr. Javed Goindi, he is a moderate Islamic scholar in Pakistan. Javed Goindi. He was the first religious renowned scholar in Pakistan who opposed suicidal attack, and he declared a fatwa against this suicidal attack, that this is totally against Islam. To 2 months ago, I interviewed him for my TV show, and that is very interesting because I asked all critical questions from this religious scholar, in which he mentioned very new thing for me, which Jamaluddin Afghani, the person who was one of the vanguard of pan-Islamism, sorry, not Islamic fundamentalism, pan-Islamism, Jamaluddin Afghani. He told me in my interview that Jamaluddin Afghani mentioned in his writings there are two hubs of barbarians in this modern world. One is Southeast land, Hijaz, and second is the Pashtun and tribal region. Saudis did maximum to de-barbarizing their nation and people through their state instrument. But the tribal region, this is Jamaluddin Afghani, the man who was the vanguard and the leader of pan-Islamism. He was the founder of pan-Islamism movement. And the main hub of barbarian region is Pashtun and tribal and this Afghan region. And then he proposed we have to democratize and to modernize this region with modern Islamic and political thought. Yes. But I want to share you one other thought, very interesting point. Who is the beneficiary of this war? Of course, you are more intelligent than me. 80%, 84% of the whole product of heroin is producing in Afghanistan after Taliban. And all laboratories are around Kabul. And their main route of drug trafficking is based from Balochistan and Central Asia through Europe and Russia. So I just want to inform you which we feel in Pakistan. The Balkanization of this region is one of the main agenda of external powers. They want to stabilize. I remember Robert Fisk's article 2 years back. He mentioned one of his articles, one day we will wake up and we will read that nuclear bomb has been stolen by some Islamic religious or Taliban people. And then Americans tried to invade Pakistan. And this is what is happening in Pakistan. Why they are not happy when Pakistan army was doing military operation in Swat. They were not happy when Pakistan army decided to start military operation in Waziristan, and they were not happy when Pakistan army helped to American, and they didn't mention who was in this house when Baitullah Rasul was killed by their own drone attacks. The American, the spokesperson of American President and State Department was hesitating to announce whether he is dead or alive. They took many days. I just want to share with you the feeling of a common Pakistani that a stable, a peaceful, a prosperous Pakistan is a guarantee for the prosperous, peaceful of India. The Balkanization of Pakistan is not the ultimate target of the external powers. The ultimate target of external powers is India. Pakistan is just a base camp for their regional wars against China or India. But I just want to share one more thing. Taliban is not a popular movement in Pakistan, as my friend informed me in his paper. Taliban are very selective and their Islam is not popular. The people of Pakistan mostly believe in Sunni and Brahmi thoughts, which is based on Sufi thoughts, and they believe in non-violent thought. For us, Gandhian thoughts are not different than Bulleh Shah. Gandhian thoughts are not different than Baba Farid. The Gandhian thoughts are not different than such as Sarmas, Shah Latif, Rahman Baba. So for us, non-violence is a way of life through our Sufi's thought. And we are the victim of this Wahhabis. I am very straight, Wahhabis or Talibans. who are getting money from Saudis and their Arab allied. So that is my scattered thoughts which I want to share you. If you have any questions, please would you like to. Who interviewed by their friend who is writing book on Taliban. I'm sure they cannot be from madrasas. It is saying the people who attacked on Twin Towers, they were from urban society. One of them from Lebanon, a very modern society, and last night he spent at club. We discussed this thing even before 9/11 with Dr. Mubashir Hassan. He was in MIT when there was a farewell of Dr. Iqbal, and Dr. Mubashir told me that what I said in MIT, it is before 9/11. I still remember Dr. Mubashir, he spoke in MIT on the farewell of Dr. Iqbal. You know, the Muslims, they feel threatened by the Western civilization. So that's why they decided to suicide them, to fight against the Western civilization or culture, which is trying to impose by their modern scientific invention. This was the essence of Dr. Mubashir's speech, which he told me after USA visits. But this is one part of that recruitment. Of course, one of my friends was is making a research on the Taliban resources, and he was shocked. The people who were giving money to madrasa, they were from urban centers also. So that is the fear which is come out of the Cold War, when Western decided Islam is the main target or enemy. They themselves decided Islam is the main enemy of Western society. So second thing, of course I believe all this kind of what you can say violent thoughts came out from jahalat or ignorance. Our society is not modernized, it is not educated. Our society is a mixture of colonial, feudal, newish and tribal leaders, Jagirdari and Kabaili we says. It's a mixture, there is no compatibility. So it's a society of have-nots. It's a society without justice. So the people who are brainwashed or inspired by mullah, because I also interviewed one suicidal attacker, which is not telecast, I was telling you. He said, I asked him this question for my TV interview. He tried to do suicide attack last year, and then he immediately decided I will not blow up myself. He said, I asked him, you are the mullah, what he was preaching you? He said, whole day he was preaching some makhsus special ayat of Quran. Jihad is wajib, and if you do jihad, you will get Jannat immediately. You will enter in Jannat, and even you will have 70 women there. So a person who cannot have food, you cannot marry, in Pashtun society, you cannot marry if you don't have money. That is another very backward tradition of Pashtun region. Whether we claim that is our nostalgia and our romance to promote our culture, but there are a lot of flaws in our own cultures. It's bad. Swara. That is called Swara. You have to pay to the woman's or girl's parents. So a person who cannot marry, who cannot get food, a 16-year-old who don't have any future, and a mullah who is promising him, immediately you will enter the Jannah. Oh yes, he was trying to do the suicide attack in the month of Ramadan. He said, mullah told me this is the most holiest month. If you do this, and he was planning to attack on a Shia mosque. So this is their belief. This is one of the byproduct of ignorance or jahalat. Ignorance is not very sophisticated word. I use jahalat is more comprehensive.